Another journey in the BBR starts today with our Week 1 battle against DyeItTight. As you know, we had a pretty poor season last time around in the BBR with only one win and finishing in last place. Jason is coming up from the BBR D League for this season after losing in the semifinals, earning a spot in the main league for his great performance leading into this season. I've been looking forward to this game for a while, as Jason has been talking a lot about how he's going to beat me in this Week 1 of the BBR, so we have a lot of extra motivation going into this game to get the win. His team is very threatening as well, with a lot of powerful threats that we did not really have the chance to get to draft in this season, so it's going to be a difficult challenge to manage some of the broken Pokemon that he managed to pick up. If you're excited for all my BBR videos this season, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers this year, and every subscriber goes a long way towards making that goal a reality. For the first time this season, our team consists of Meowscarada, Iron Hands, Volcarona, Screamtail, Landorus Incarnate, Blastoise, Dragonite, Registeel, and Bruxish. Jason's team consists of Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Iron Bundle, Azumarill, Slitherwing, Tinkaton, Zarude, Noivern, Uxie, Muck, Pikachu, and Misdreavus. As was the theme in the draft analysis, we are outmatched here when it comes to the top tier threats. Ursaluna Bloodmoon and Iron Bundle provide a very powerful offensive duo, putting stress on our defensive Pokemon to be able to handle them in the long term. Screamtail does a good job of managing both individually, but keeping it at high HP will be critical in terms of having a consistent defensive answer to both Pokemon. Having multiple ways to check and come in on these Pokemon to take pressure off Screamtail will be crucial to make sure that we stay in this game. Defensively, Slitherwing is going to be a crucial Pokemon for Jason, as it is a great way for him to answer both of my early round picks and Meowscarada and Iron Hands. It is likely we see a Rocky Helmet set to punish U-turns from Meowscarada and the assortment of physical attacks the Iron Hands will use in this matchup. Azumarill is also a great option for him defensively, able to leverage Sap Sipper to great effect against the aforementioned Meowscarada and Volcarona. On my team, Screamtail is the key to this matchup, as this defensive responsibility is very important to winning this game. Having to switch into both of his top tier threats and staying healthy means we're going to need to build a team that allows us to protect on turns that will lose us momentum to get that wish recovery. Landorus offensively is the potential key to the matchup here. Jason has no way to consistently switch into this Pokemon, with even Assault Vest Azumarill taking 50% from Earth Power. With that in mind, let's get right into the team. Our dedicated lead for Week 1 is Iron Hands, as it consistently beats all of the possible leads that Jason can throw at us. We are using Assault Vest, enabling us to take on the Ursaluna Bloodmoon better. 32 HP and 176 special defense EVs allow us to lift 2 modest 252 Earth Powers from Ursaluna Bloodmoon after Drain Punch recovery, which we should be outspeeding anyway with our 48 speed EVs. With Ursaluna Bloodmoon being his only ground type, this makes Volt Switch a great inclusion on the set, creating favorable turns against Pokemon like Slitherwing with our Volcarona and Landorus Incarnate. Wild Charge gives us a powerful stab move for Azumarill, and Ice Punch rounds out our coverage to give us a way to kill Noivern without taking recoil damage. Screamtail comes this week with the very difficult job of checking both Ursaluna Bloodmoon and Iron Bundle. With heavy duty boots and full special defense investment, we are able to take plenty of Ursaluna Bloodmoon and Iron Bundle hits. We are running Wish Protect to keep our Screamtail at high HP to perform this role consistently throughout the game, as well as to enable its potential as an endgame win condition. This is enabled through Calm Mind, allowing us to set up on Ursaluna Bloodmoon and Iron Bundle, taking the follow-up hits easier and winning the game with Dazzling Gleam once Tinkaton has been dealt with. 16 speed allows us to outspeed all Adamant Slitherwing sets and protects us against Pokemon trying to hit no speed Screamtail as her speed tier target. While our Volcarona this week is a Quiver Dance set, its role is much more focused defensively in this game. Being a Flame Body Pokemon, we're able to use this as a check to both Slitherwing and Tinkaton if we can set up a situation where Jason can't click Rock Slide. 216 speed allows us to outspeed Uxie, also outspeeding a potential Scarf Adamant Zarude at +1. While we are a Quiver Dance set, we are running Flamethrower this week, as +1 Flamethrower with 48 special attack EVs kills max HP Slitherwing, allowing us to run as much bulk as possible, enabling its role as a defensive switch-in. Morning Sun then covers the rest of this role, allowing us to recover any HP taken from attacks from Slitherwing and Tinkaton, and Giga Drain is her final coverage move, able to gain HP if we have taken a hit while setting up, or to attack a huge power Azumarill. Landorus is a great matchup this week, and we are taking advantage of that by using the Life Orb Sheer Force set. 184 speed allows us to outspeed all Tinkaton sets, adding additional EVs to outspeed Pokemon that are EV'd to hit the Tinkaton speed creep. The rest of our EVs are put into defense, as the only hits we are expected to take this week are from Azumarill Aqua Jet or Tinkaton's Gigaton Hammer, trying to make aggressive switches off a Screamtail Wish. U-Turn gives us momentum and a way to hit Uxie for big damage, and Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and Psychic give us super effective coverage to hit all of the relevant defensive Pokemon. Despite some great answers to this Pokemon like Slitherwing on Jason's team, Choice Scarf Meowscarada is a great bring in this matchup. Iron Bundle is likely to be heavy-duty boots in this matchup due to Noivern's poor matchup, and the high likelihood of getting up Stealth Rocks in this matchup through Registeel, meaning that we can outspeed all Iron Bundle sets. Spikes give us additional hazards to set up, lowering the effectiveness of Slitherwing and Tinkaton in the mid-game. Flower Trick and Knockoff provide consistent damage and item removal, while Triple Axle gives us a powerful move to hit both Sarud and Noivern. Our final team member is Registeel, whose primary goal this week is to set up Stealth Rocks. We're running Rocky Helmet to punish the plethora of physical attackers on his team like Azumarill, Sarud, and Slitherwing. 52 attack EVs allow us to kill no investment Noivern after Stealth Rocks with Ice Spinner, a Pokemon he might try to use to pressure Registeel to defog the hazards away for a non-heavy duty boots Iron Bundle. Body Press gives us a move to hit Ursaluna Blood Moon if it wants to switch in aggressively, and Heavy Slam gives us a powerful stab option to hit Pokemon like Azumarill. And that is our final team for week number 1 of the BBR. Shout out to Brown for the prep support this week and Obo for all of the mocks. Enough of that, let's get right into the battle. Alright, we are here with BBR week number 1 against Jason. A highly anticipated game for all of the people who are within our inner circle. Jason's been talking a lot about this game leading up to it, and for good reason. This is a big chance for himself to prove he's back on the BBR stage after having a good season in D-League. He's up. He gets the the 1-7 coach to start his season. But let's get into it. I'm leading Iron Hands in this matchup. Iron Hands is our dedicated lead. It is designed to beat Ursaluna Blood Moon 1v1 or Volt Switch on any other lead besides Azumarill in this specific spot. I think the lines to start this game are pretty simple for me here, which is really good. Okay, perfect. This is actually kind of like what I expected just off the hop as a lead. So our Assault Vest Iron Hands is designed to be able to take this one-on-one, whether we're faster or slower. So what I'm going to do is just Drain Punch this Pokemon right away. If he withdraws into Slitherwing, that's fine. We just get a little bit of information. I could Volt Switch there, but getting the Ursaluna Blood Moon early is super important. And we have good switch-ins to this either way. So hurt by the Rocky Helmet, we get some good info there. That this is very much a defensive Slitherwing. Now we do have Flame Body Volcarona that we can use as a pivot in this spot. So we're going to use this to pivot in. Our entire goal in these first few turn sequences is to get up Stealth Rocks with our Registeel. And whether that comes in on something like the Azumarill, that is kind of the main turn. We see Willow come here. Probably trying to score a Willow on the not the Infernape. I don't know why I'm thinking about Infernape. He's trying to score a Willow in the Iron Hands. What I expect likely here is I expect a switch into the Azumarill. I could just get aggressive and double, go into my Registeel here and get up my Stealth Rocks, which I think I'm just going to take the opportunity to do. I don't think he's going to U-turn. I don't think that's a productive turn for him to risk a Flame Body. And when he goes into Azumarill, I get my rocks up, and then we're kind of cooking for the rest of the game. Perfect. So this game is going basically exactly how we're hoping for. Basically exactly how we're hoping for is to line up a turn sequence to get Stealth Rocks up against Jason. Now, we do have, he probably is going to go Ursaluna on this turn. He could just also be Belly Drum. He's going to Whirlpool. He's also going to miss. So he's Whirlpool Sap Sipper, which is good to know. That is, a decent set to actually trap this. All right, so Sap Sipper, how do I want to play around that now? I don't want to go into Iron Hands and risk taking any extra HP if I don't have to. Heavy Slam from Registeel it has a chance to 3-hit KO, but I think what I'm going to do, at least for now, is just go into my... I'm going to Iron Hands and Volt Switch. I'm going to go Iron Hands. I'm going to expect another Whirlpool to come out here, and I can just Volt Switch off of that. I don't expect Ursaluna to come in. That's one of the benefits of Volt Switch in this matchup, is Jason's ground type just can never come in. And he's just gonna, he's gonna miss again. This is truly a generational Pokemon game. I'm just getting everything going my way here in the early going, and I'm just gonna Volt Switch here. No reason to get creative here. If he goes Ursaluna, he goes Ursaluna, but I expect the Slitherwing to be the likely play here, and in comes the Slitherwing, so that's perfect. Gets even a little bit more chip on that as well, and we're going to be able to go into my Landorus and get off a really, really powerful hit here. I think for this first hit, I'm going to elect to go for the... I guess the question is, do I just U-turn or Psychic? If he stays in, then I have no issue just going into my Volcarona and going from there. And then if he switches out, we get initiative there. So I don't really expect him to switch in. He could also First Impression. Because of the First Impression, I do have a lot of defensive EVs on this. I think there is a little bit of an argument for that, but I think he needs this for Iron Hand. So I'm just going to elect to U-turn here, as he is going to withdraw. Again, this game is just going exactly how I'm hoping for. And he goes into the Uxie, gets hit by the rocks. We get a powerful U-turn off. That is a lot of damage. And now I want to calc my Meowscarada here against defensive Uxie. Because I do want Uxie to be a threat here to trap with the, or not to trap, but to threaten the Meowscarada, or threaten the Iron Bundle with Choice Scarf later in the game. But this is a really, really good turn to get a knockoff after all of this damage. Yeah, considering how low he is, this is going to be a pretty free knockoff. I could get a spike up, but I actually think between, you know, kind of everything we have going on here, there's no real reason to do that. Let's just take our free knock here. Jason's probably going to go into the Slitherwing, which is a-okay by me. I will take that every day of the week. He goes into something new, probably the Tinkaton, actually. He goes into the Tinkaton, so we do get to knock off this item, which is super important. And that was Rocky Helmet as well. So very, very Rocky Helmet focused team this week. And I get to basically just now go into my Registeel for free here. I expect Stealth Rocks to come up here. And on this turn, I think I definitely want to Body Press. It puts the Azumarill in range of the Heavy Slams. Given my HP spread. And there comes the Rocks. Perfect. The only thing we really have to be mindful of this is probably, is our Landorus mainly. Our Choice Scarf, Meowscarada doesn't really need the HP at all, and everything else relevant has boots. So at this point, I think I want to take this turn to Body Press. Body Press covers the Ursaluna, and it also does a little bit of damage to that Azumarill, which I think probably comes in here, but I can just Heavy Slam that after. I think Jason is kind of getting a little bit behind here and might want to use this as an opportunity to get super aggressive here. He's just going to go into this, okay. So with my Rocky Helmet, we do see leftovers, so that makes sense here as an item. That changes the calc a little bit. Is Whirlpool a contact move? I gotta confirm that. It does not make contact. Okay, so that's good to know. I could go for the Heavy Slam here. I could also just get aggressive back into my Iron Hands. Iron Hands is still super useful in this game, that's for sure. But, I do have the opportunity just to Volt Switch every time. And I do need to kind of save this to pressure a few things. It being at full HP is pretty relevant here. This is insane. Jason is a bit... You know what? If Jason calls hacks on this game, hey, fair enough. If Jason wants to call hacks on this game, look, by all means, he can claim it, because this is getting a little ridiculous. I'm certainly getting bailed out. I'm just going to Volt Switch again. Jason likes to go for the Protect, so we learned another move on this Pokemon. Protect is good just to gain a little bit of extra HP back with that leftovers. Helps Jason live. Some additional Heavy Slams here, but this game is going super, super well right now. I don't have a reason to get, to change up my sequence of plays here. Like, I could Drain Punch protecting against Ursaluna Blood Moon, but once again, like, my HP, I expect to be faster than the Ursaluna, and the fact that I Drain Punched on turn 1 probably makes him believe that I am actually able to manage that Pokemon. He's just going to go into this Pokemon, and this Pokemon is basically dead at this point. Because there's just only so many times that this Pokemon can come in and not really claim any progress. Question here is, do I want to go into something like the Volcarona? Is that kind of the angle we want to go with here? We do need to beat that Azumarill at some point to enable this Volcarona. If I go into this, we're getting potentially starting to get into range of First Impression, which we obviously don't want to do. We could just go into this Pokemon and Dazzling Gleam actually and bring in the Tinkaton. But I do need this to be, Ursaluna check. So I'm just going to bring in Volcarona and just go for Flamethrower. This gives me a burn chance on the Azumarill and picks off this Pokemon if need be. I could have gone, well, I guess Flower Trick doesn't kill here. I can't set up a bait here, unfortunately, with my, with my Meowscarada just yet. Murko comes in. A burn here would be really, really nice. No burn. All right. One thing I have to actually be mindful here of at a certain point is Iron Hands being at low HP does mean it cannot check Ursaluna. So we know it has Protect, Whirlpool. I mean, it could have Play Rough, but if he goes for Play Rough, I think I'm okay with that. This Calm Mind Screamtail is going to look pretty good here, still as an answer to that. Ursaluna Blood Moon. We're still kind of in a good position with that. And we do still have endgame. Our priority at this point, I think, is get rid of this Azumarill, because endgame of Volcarona looks really, really powerful right now. Alright, he finally hits a Whirlpool. So we're probably going to see a Protect come out here just to get a little bit of extra damage on my Iron Hands. That's perfectly fine. Once again, now this Pokemon can't really check the Ursaluna if it's slower, though I do expect this to be faster. We did put a decent amount of HP, or speed. We put about 48 speed EVs just to cover some basic creeps for this Pokemon and the Ursaluna. So I'm feeling pretty good about that perspective. I do expect him to switch out again. If he goes into Ursaluna, that's perfectly fine, because we're actually now in a position where if we outspeed and Drain Punch, we still live every hit. So let's just go for the Volt Switch, because I'm A-okay if he goes into Ursaluna here. I think an Ursaluna into Slitherwing play might actually make sense from him at this spot, but, Iron Hands is doing some work here. Let's see if he does make that play. No, he's just going to go back into this thing. He's letting this thing die, essentially. Does this actually kill? No, it doesn't. I don't think I've knocked the Rocky Helmet off. So Flower Trick actually doesn't make contact. Oh, he has First Impression. I almost threw the game. Dude, imagine if I go into, Meowscarada there to try to lay the trap for Iron Bundle and get freaking First Impression out of the game. Wow, that would have been a travesty, honestly. That would have been super terrible. God, I would have had to delete my channel after that one. Here I could set up to protect against Iron Bundle coming back in. I gotta actually do just a Quiver Dance to protect against Iron Bundle here a little bit. If he goes into Azumarill, we still have kind of a really good turn sequence there. And there's nothing that this thing can do, right? I didn't miss anything in the builder for no reason. You know what? I'm just gonna Flamethrower. I mean, it would make sense to do that, but he could also just switch out and use this as a sack. Yeah, maybe that was the right play to do. But we pick up our first, holy voice crack. We pick up our first kill of the game. This is getting kind of a long game to pick up our first kill. Big Volcarona against Slitherwing, and that's not the Iron Bundle, which is kind of surprising. I think this thing, is still kind of good for me, kind of all things considered. Question is how do I The Whirlpool is kind of a problem. I do have Calm Mind Screamtail, which can still deal with it in the end game, but I do have a little bit of difficulty breaking it outside of that. So the question here is, I don't really think he's going to Whirlpool. Well, he probably does Whirlpool. Frig. I am in a position, I mean, if he misses, he misses. I am in a position where this Pokemon is starting to cause some issues. I actually am kind of really happy now I have Sludge Wave on Landorus. I was actually thinking that that fourth move was not going to be super relevant, but it's actually going to be really relevant in this game now. And now at this point, it becomes really interesting for Jason if he wants to go into Ursaluna. It's actually a really, really interesting kind of thing to figure out here. So I'm obviously going to Volt Switch here on the first turn as he goes for the Protect. Do I want to change up my move at this point? As I don't think he wants to sack this Pokemon, because this Pokemon is very, very good in this matchup. He could go into Uxie. I think Uxie is actually his best play to go into. So what I think I'm going to do is Wild Charge. And if he goes into Ursaluna, he goes into Ursaluna. But I do have the Calm Mind, what's it called? Calm Mind Screamtail still for an answer to that Pokemon. This Pokemon, if I'm able to get a Wild Charge off on this and kill it, would just be massive. But if he goes into Uxie, or Tinkaton is kind of what I'm expecting to happen here. And it looks like that is the Tinkaton, right? Yeah. I could have Drain Punch there. That would have been nice. But this Wild Charge is going to do a good amount of damage as well. And that's perfect. So I'm going to lose my Iron Hands to the Tinkaton, which is a little bit unfortunate. That loses an initial switch in to the Azumarill. But I can, at a certain point, I can actually use my Registeel to answer that Pokemon with Heavy Slam. And here at this point, he doesn't actually have a really good switch in to Landorus still. I mean, he still has Uxie. But I get to U-turn into Flower Trick on that Pokemon, which would be super powerful here. And I think he still probably wants to have this Pokemon as a Screamtail check. So I'm going to go Lando here. This game is starting to kind of shape up for me here in a really, really good spot. I have a lot of HP lost, unfortunately, which is not great. And if he stays in, I expect an attack, and I get to go Registeel. And then he probably goes Azumarill, and then we probably beat it with Heavy Slam at that point. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn here. He is going to stay in. Okay, perfect. And we can just go into Registeel and pick up the kill that way. So a little bit unfortunate, but if he does use that to pick that off, I assume he probably doesn't have Aqua Jet, which allows us to kill with Sludge Wave on that Pokemon. So let's see what he goes for here. This goes for the knockoff. Losing the Rocky Helmet's not that big a deal, but we do get the Tinkaton down. So, decent turn. He could bring in the Blood Moon. If he brings in the Blood Moon, he's just going to go into this thing. I think my best play actually at this point is to Heavy Slam. If he misses a Whirlpool this turn, then that's obviously super broken. For me, and I don't actually mind if he takes this Pokemon with me. At this point, you know, we're at the point where we can simplify the end game, and the what's it called? We're looking good for the Volcarona end game and the Meowscarada end game. So my goal now, I think at this point, is to simplify the end game and just to Heavy Slam this Pokemon. If he wants this, he can have it. Yeah, that's great damage there. This is going to be, I wouldn't say a long one to end this game. You know, there's still quite a few turns here that matter, but, you know, hopefully we also get a little bit of information about this set. I want to calc, I need to start calcing this damage. I think this is like max HP. Like, I'm pretty, this should be Sap Sipper. Like, the Aqua Jet is certainly not doing enough at this point. against the Landorus that I have to really worry about that. So we do have the ability to check this with the Landorus as well with the Sludge Wave. So let's go for a Heavy Slam here. He is going to withdraw. Okay. So I think he's kind of sees the writing on the wall there a little bit. And he goes into All for One. I think this is the Ursaluna. So this is a speed tie. The question is do I just want to sack this Pokemon? I would still like to have this as an Azumarill switch in. So we're going to go right into Screamtail. Screamtail is super designed to deal with this Pokemon. And we get to finally see what type of Ursaluna this is. With Calm Mind, we can Calm Mind in front of any Ursaluna set. He's just going to go for the Earth Power here, try to maximize damage there. One thing that's really nice about this Screamtail is he actually... Is CM Screamtail actually going to win from this position? It's actually really difficult for him to break this Pokemon now. He does not have a lot to deal with this. I am just going to actually elect to Calm Mind here. He could have the Blood Moon here, which would be super powerful. He is just going to go for the Blood Moon, but given my bulk, yeah, this is just going to do actually pitiful damage. And now I can just set up a Wish here, and this Pokemon is completely walled in this turn cycle. He could go into the Azumarill here, but if he goes Azumarill, I get full. I can actually go into... Ooh, I can get creative here. I think at this point I just have to not throw. I think that's one thing I have to keep in mind here. I have to do my best to make sure I play around all of kind of the extra nonsense he's got going on. This is the Bundler, right? Or this is the Uxie. What is Uxie's angle here? So Uxie is probably going to go for... If I had to guess, Uxie goes for the Encore here. I would like the Screamtail to actually catch this Wish. So if he Encores me, then I'm okay with that. I do have a little bit of speed, which is nice. So if he does Encore, actually, he's going to lock me into this. All right, perfect. He is slower. So that's 16 speed on Screamtail. Coming in super clutch here, as now I'm locked into Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, I'm locked into Dazzling Gleam now. That is, you know, a huge little bit of speed creeping there. So I'm just going to Dazzling Gleam again. If he goes for something like the T-Wave, I'm probably okay with that. He just goes for the knockoff to get rid of the boots. We're perfectly okay with that. And we'll just claim the Uxie. One of the only things actually really problematic left at this point to deal with my team. I think this Screamtail can win. This can break through. This can break through this, right? Yeah, this dies to 2 Dazzling Gleams. And at the very least, I put it in range of everything. You know, I do have to be mindful to not lose, but I can just Calm Mind on the Protect turn perfectly fine. Those Protect turns are super... Yeah, I mean, he's just going to go for the Protect. I could have Calm Minded there. Maybe that would have been fine. Actually, I don't think the Encore has worn off at this point. So I think we do have enough here to pull this out. We've kind of... Our prep has kind of shone through in this spot. We're just going to Dazzling Gleam again. We do only have 12 of these, which is kind of why I want to CM on the next turn. Perish Song, okay. At this point, I do want to switch. I do need to preserve this Pokemon. I do expect... to Protect on this turn, actually. I don't think he Whirlpools, because he is in range of another one of these. Fuck. I guess I don't have a great switch in. I can just go into this. I don't actually think he's going to go for... I think he's just going to go for the Whirlpool here. So I can use this as an angle to get into... Yeah, he goes for the Whirlpool. I could have attacked there. That would have been fine. But I think this is an okay angle to get in my Landorus, which Landorus has no real switch in at this point. Yeah, he does have the Ursaluna as a switch in, but I'm okay with that every day of the week. So So he does get 1 turn to stay in. I think he protects here, so I'm going to body press. Actually, I think I heavy slam. I don't think body press actually does anything here. If I click it. Yeah, I'm going to body... Well, he's going to switch out this turn, so I'm just going to body press. If he gives me this Pokemon, then... So if I body press, he gives me one of the Pokemon in the back. If he stays in, he gives me the Azumarill, which is basically all I need at this point. So I'm going to body press. He's going to withdraw. Would really like to hit the Ursaluna here. Hitting Ursaluna here would be massive. Yep, that's the Ursaluna. This is going to be a big turn. That's going to do a lot of damage. Yep, perfect. And because of the Whirlpool, I'm in a good spot. At this point, because this body press kills, I kind of do want to just go for... I can kind of just sack this Pokemon off. I'm kind of okay to just get rid of this Pokemon. So if I win the speed tie, then that would be fire. But at the very end, we lose this, and then we just go back into our Scream Tail. We just Calm Mind up. And we're kind of just in the same, the same really solid position that we were before, where this Pokemon just kind of goes crazy here. Because even if he goes Bundler, it's not really a great position. What does +2 Calm Mind do? Doesn't really change the situation here, actually, that much. How much PP does Whirlpool have? I actually should... Oh, this is one of the ones that has like 1 million, right? It has 24. Okay, that's close enough to like 1 million. I kind of expect him to protect her Whirlpool this turn. So I'm just going to Calm Mind. Yeah, he protects. Perfect. All right. It's looking good. It's looking good. Everything we need is going my way right now. Calm Mind Scream Tail just putting in the finest of work here in this game. I think after the leftovers, it should be a range. Oh, I'm calculating with AV. This should be enough to kill at +2. Perfect, there we go. I don't think the crit actually matters there. I think that crit is pretty inconsequential to the end result of this game. But I think Scream Tail should just be able to pull off kind of the rest of the team here. In comes the bottom. Ooh, so it wasn't Boots, which is interesting. So this might have actually been Scarf, which is super funny. But this should kill basically all of the time after... hazards. Hydro Pump is not going to do any damage here. Yep. And that Dazzling Gleam should just kill. Perfect. And that is another kill for Scream Tail. So Calm Mind Scream Tail is going to absolutely just run through this game. The game plan with this was to break through Tinkaton, and this Pokemon would win in the end game, and it certainly has. What a big game here for Calm Mind Scream Tail to pull this one out of the bag in the first week of the BBR. We're back. We've equaled our win total from last season already, which is crazy to think that we did so poorly last season and we're already ahead of the game this time. But that was a really good game, Jason. I think this is, like, honestly, in terms of Gen 9 games and how they go, that has been one of the better games I've played in a long time. So good game to Jason. Next week we play against Grandmaster D-Ray. He's got a team of Pokemon, so that'll be an interesting one to get into next week. But thank you everyone for watching. We'll see y'all next week. And as all, have a wonderful day.